Heidi here. Welcome to another DIY video. I'm wanting to try to document more of my DIYs that I do. Quite a lot of the time I'm just resizing something or making a small alteration, and I want to still document those as well. The things I've got here are items that I do really like, but for one reason or another I just don't really wear them as much as I would like to. So I've got two dresses and a top. So this is the first dress, and I have had this one quite a long time now, quite a few years, and I've not worn it as much as I would like to. My problem with this is because it's cotton and these sleeves are quite long, whenever I bend my arms, the inner elbow bit gets really creased, and like instantly, as soon as I wear it, it's creasing there, and it just feels really bunchy, and I don't like how that feels. And also the shape of the sleeves just is very boring. I mean, not even boring, but it looks a bit awkward, and the fit is just really kind of frumpy, I guess you could say. I will be making this a short sleeve, and that means I'll be able to wear it more of the year as well. So that will fix the sleeve issue. With this length, it just looks a bit awkward. Like, I don't like the proportions it gives. I've already decided the length I'm going to do, so just here, and of course I still want to keep the split. So the alterations for this are very straightforward, shouldn't take me too long for this one. The top I haven't had as long as the dress. As I previously mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of collars most of the time. Obviously I'm wearing this one. For some reason this one just works for me. I'm not quite sure what it is. So the collar will be coming off completely. Took off the collar and left a bit of fabric so I could finish this edge nicely, and I thought it needed a bit of something else, so I just put a couple of stitches in here to keep these bits down, and that's that one. This is quite a recent find, and I really love the top half. That's great, not going to be altering that. The skirt is the issue for me, and I don't really generally go for bodycon things on the lower half, just because it just looks really plain. It's just not interesting enough for me, I guess you could say. So with this one, again, proportionally, I think it'll look a bit better if it's slightly shorter, only an inch or two, nothing too drastic. And I was also thinking of opening up the side a little bit and doing a mesh panel in there, just to make it a bit slightly more of an A-line potentially, or at least just not quite as tight. I much prefer things that I don't have to keep pulling around, and with this sort of skirt part, they just never stay in place for me. I would prefer if it didn't move around as much, so giving it a bit of extra fabric will hopefully help with that. I'm also wanting to alter this dress, quite a long one, and I've just really decided that maxi length just isn't for me, but I absolutely adore this dress for the design. So I will just be making it shorter. I'll be making it into a mini dress, and I think that will really suit it as well, because it's quite a loose fit. So I think the shorter length will just make it look amazing. And I had actually mentioned in the haul that I wished this fabric was around on the back as well, because it's just plain on the back here. So making it shorter will mean that I have enough of this fabric to put on the back as well. It'll just probably be around the skirt part. I'll just leave the back as is. So that will actually solve a problem that I wanted to solve anyway as well. I did already open up this side seam so it didn't pull on my legs every time I took a step. But obviously that doesn't matter now because I'll be making it short. Here is the finished dress. I'm really happy with it. This is how much fabric I was able to take off the front. I didn't end up taking it in at the sides at all, mainly because it's not a stretchy fabric and I just have to pull it over my head. There aren't any zips or anything to get in and out of it, so I thought it best to leave it a bit loose and then I can just bring it in a bit with other accessories, belts and stuff if I want to. The fishnet panel at the front I actually finished off with this edge here, scrap fabric I had, and I thought it matched the edging for this as close as I was going to get. Obviously this one's a bit thicker just because I'm not that good with delicate stuff. Here's another DIY that I'm working on at the moment. It was just a big t-shirt and I thought it would be nicer as a more fitted top, so I've already chopped it up quite a bit, taken in the sides, and I used bright yellow thread for that, so I thought that would be fun. I think I might do a top stitch of it as well, just to add a bit more detail, and the intention with this is it's going to be a kind of off the shoulder fitted top, so I have made it the right size for my torso, and then I've made a cut for the armpit there, and I have the original sleeves, which I obviously need to take in quite a bit, so I'll probably make them smaller from the lower seam because that will be easier, and then I'll adjust the shoulder as needed. This also gets around the problem of the slight discoloration of the armpit there, so that gets rid of that. The next stage with this one will be to make the sleeves smaller and then attach it to the top, and I'll see how it is with the shape of the shoulder, and then I'm not 100% sure yet, but I might do a kind of band around the top of it all just to finish it off, but we'll see about that. And then I will also be making straps to go over the shoulders because I don't do tube tops, so I need something that will hold it up manually. This is the finished top that I transformed from a big t-shirt. This is the finished thing. I do kind of wish I'd done the double strap ever so slightly further apart, because of course it kind of goes together like this, but I still like how it looks. And these off the shoulder sleeve bits, just because it's t-shirt fabric, so whilst it's stretchy, I don't really want it to be really stretched out all the time, so I have left the sleeves like this, like they are a tiny bit baggy, like that. I did already put a dart in on either side because it was like way too big originally, so I have taken it in a little bit. If I take in any more then it's going to be too tight and it's just not going to be practical, so this is where I'm going to leave it for now. And I did the neon stitching around the edge, even though this is like just kind of regular bright yellow. I will most likely be wearing this top with my other more neon yellow items, so I did put the stitching in so it would still be cohesive with my other items, because I want to be able to wear it as much as possible. But then of course I can still wear this with my non-neon yellow, as I have done today. I've worn this loads already, so I'm really excited about having this. I also just remembered that I said I would show how I make my labels for things that I modify, and I think I will make one for this top because I feel like I've changed it sufficiently to be able to put my name on it, so I will make sure I show the process of that. I'll have to kind of work out if I can see which day I finished making this on, I feel like that might be easy actually because I wore it the same day that I finished it, so that should be okay. I always use some sort of scrap fabric for the label. So I've got quite a large bit here. I thought I'd use this one, and because I use my machine to embroider part of it, I'm going to use the seam here. It's not a stretchy fabric, which is good, because obviously with the machine embroidering it, it can't really be too stretchy. First of all, I'll program in what I want stitched into my machine, and I'll just start from this end and then cut it out after it's been done. So I just need to change this to the correct mode. So that's it programmed in, and I need to change the foot to the F foot just to make sure it's getting to work properly. That's both labels finished. This one, the H got a bit squished, but you can still read it, so it's fine. I'd been meaning to do something with this dress for a while, and here's a picture of when I previously wore it. You can see it hits me about knee length. I hadn't actually worn it since this photo was taken, which was January 2024, and because it hits me at knee length, you see it's got a drawstring all around the hem, and whenever I take a step, up a step, it would catch under my knee, which was obviously very annoying, and it just felt quite an awkward shape to the skirt as well. Even though I really liked the whole idea of the dress, it was just the volume of the fabric always threw me off a bit. So I thought making it shorter, giving less fabric, a bit less volume, would solve that problem for me. I wanted to keep the drawstring hemline because I thought that was one of the most interesting parts of the dress. So I cut off the bottom part of it to preserve that. I measured all around the skirt to make sure I had a similar size section that I was left with, but the skirt itself was completely uneven, so I wasn't too concerned about the finished product having the same length all the way around. I took my time with pinning it back together, being as I had more of the section I was reattaching than the rest of the dress. I didn't want all of the excess fabric gathered in one place, so I spread it out throughout the rest of the skirt. Here is the finished product with this one too. The only thing I'm still thinking of changing though is this back part here. I'm not really liking the shape that it's got, so I'll just add an extra bit of length to this cord here, so it will be a bit more opened up. But yeah, I'm much preferring the shape of this and the length.